right, welcome to Real Riders Ride. I'm your host, The Spoiler. I'm here with a good friend of mine's biker extraordinaire, executive director for Abate, Chubby. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing really good, Spoiler. I appreciate being here.
Hey, anytime you want to talk about any kind of legislative things that need to go out, come see me. We'll put you on.
Better watch out how much you ask for that. You have no idea how much I can talk.
Gotcha. Well, the floor is yours. Tell the folks about your organization and what they need to know as far as biker rights and how to get involved.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. I realize nobody wants to sit and watch your computer for an hour because I could probably make this into an hour spiel. So
Gotcha.
I'll give you somewhat of my elevator speech, though.
Okay.
Starting right off, as we were just talking before, Abate, how do you pronounce it? What does it mean? Abate's an acronym. Abate actually was started nationally by Easy Riders magazine back in about 1968 or 69.
I was just saying, that's old school.
Oh yeah, and they worked really hard to come up. They originally called it something else, maybe the Modified Motorcycle Association, something that was already taken, so they had to modify it. So what they did is they sat and thought about, first off, to abate is to remove. And all abates were really started to remove the national helmet laws that took effect under the National Safety Act in 1966. So when they said to abate something or remove it, they also put an acronym with it. And abate, it still stands in Wisconsin today. A Brotherhood Against Totalitarian Enactments is the acronym that abate stands for in Wisconsin. And also, Wisconsin, every abate is different. Abate of Illinois is a separate corporation, and Abate of Minnesota, Abate of Michigan, Abate of Wisconsin.
So they kind of run independently.
They all run independently. There is Easy Riders long gone out of it, although we do associate with people from the magazine.
Sure.
We do kind of go under a national organization under their flag that has similar beliefs as we do, which is called the Motorcycle Riders Foundation.
Okay.
But Abate of Wisconsin was formed in 1974. Everybody formed at a different time, has different bylaws. As you mentioned, I'm the executive director of Abate. That's because I'm the director of an executive board.
Okay.
We have a board of 13 members. We have 8 districts, and then another 6 members that sit on the board at large also.
Okay.
5 members that sit on the board at large also. So 8 of the districts are represented by representation on our board.
Okay.
And then 5 at large members. So that comprises, that's why I'm the executive director.
Okay.
I'm not the president because Abate's not a club.
It's not a club. Right.
We're not a club. We're not a Harley organization,
Right.
although I believe me, I have a bagger.
Right.
I've had Harleys probably since I turned 30.
Right.
But it's a big mixture of who we represent. There's sport bikers in our crowd. There's definitely a lot of Metro Cruiser riders. It's a very diverse group. It's not significant to one person or other, but you have to believe in the freedoms of motorcycling.
Right.
We're
about biker freedoms here.
That's all Abate is about. You're not going to see anything that we put out that is about gun rights.
Sure.
It's not going to be recently in Wisconsin Act 10. We're not taking a stance on union rights, anything like that. But our members come from all walks of life. I normally pride ourselves as a bipartisan organization. We work well with everybody in our legislature, and we do that because our members are a diverse group. I have union members, I have doctors, I have lawyers, I have county workers. I'm a carpenter contractor.
Sure.
So we come from all walks of life under that bond of brotherhood that's biking.
Sure.
We're all bikers. Abate has been around since 1974, as I said, and it's our 40th anniversary this year.
Oh,
which is
so big things are happening.
I'm hoping it's going to lead into something big. I've got some stuff planned for later in the year. We're going to hold our annual meeting in Madison, Wisconsin this year because really it's how we got started.
Now here's the thing, right? Volunteer.
Absolutely. When I say it's a volunteer organization, I'm talking about everybody. Everybody in Abate, which we have, at this time I have about 7,000 members, representing, like I said, all different kinds of motorcyclists. But our main, all of our officers, all of our board members, and myself are all unpaid employees at Abate of Wisconsin. We're working, we strive to provide a united voice for all motorcyclists in Wisconsin, and we truly do that through a volunteer grassroots effort. We don't have a paid lobbyist, but we have individual members that teach a lobbying course on how you can visit with your legislator and and get something done.
Sure.
That's how we do things. We don't ramrod down things. We work very well with all different stakeholders when we produce legislation.
Okay.
So that we're providing that united voice. We don't want to step on anybody. I want everybody to be involved and have that voice. If you don't believe what Abate is doing, if you think we are doing something wrong, become a member and lend a voice. It's as simple as that.
Get involved.
Get involved and your voice will be heard. I probably spend 40 hours a week doing this, and it is my family. I've learned to integrate my family. I have an 8-year-old son.
As most bikers do.
Loves to ride. So, but all of us have a story, and we're all there for one reason, and it's political action is really what Abate is about. But as you can see from the sign behind me, we do a lot more too.
Sure.
So after our inception, we got started, and if everybody's not familiar, the helmet law got repealed in Wisconsin in 1977. Took effect in 1978. We do have a helmet law in Wisconsin. Don't make no mistake about it.
Right.
It's called a modified helmet law, which we do support. Anyone under the age of 18 or without an M endorsement has to wear a lid in Wisconsin. There's also a lot of other safety factors we agree with. Everybody's got to wear eyewear in Wisconsin.
Sure.
You have to have a headlight and blinkers on your bike like anywhere else.
Right.
The freedom of choice issue is kind of the glue that binds Abate, but we take that freedom very seriously. And with freedom comes responsibility. That's where stuff like this is part of our motorcycle awareness program. We put about 25 billboards up throughout the state. You're not going to see them in the Milwaukee area. They're too expensive here.
Oh yeah, they'll price you out.
Because again, $25 a year for a membership, I'm not buying a lot of.
Right.
I'm not buying a lot of signs.
Yeah.
But I put about 40,000 of these out in the last 6 years. We put the billboards out every year. We have placemats that you'll see in cafes and restaurants.
Okay.
We do banners along the roadway. We also we host awareness rallies that you'll see. You're going to see those in Milwaukee. There's going to be at least 2 this year, where people hold signs like this, your mother's a motorcyclist. I'm your grandma and I'm a motorcyclist. That kind of thing. We normally get 60, 80 people at a rally holding signs at an intersection where people can see we're out there again.
Right. Just so you get aware that, hey, these bikers are out here.
Absolutely. And these days, I would say we haven't had a helmet law fight in Wisconsin for a number of years. The majority of what we do has to do with safety and awareness issues.
Okay. Now, you just did a lobbying day right
Absolutely.
here in March up in Madison.
Yep.
Tell us how that went.
And it went really well this year. And it's a credit to our members in understanding what we're about and not being overzealous about anything. We had our lobby day on March 13th, and I had just under 500 bikers there. There was about 480 bikers there.
Okay.
Which now March 13th was a Thursday, so I'm getting bikers there again. These people aren't getting paid.
Right.
We provide buses from all over the state.
Okay.
So there was 2 buses came up from Milwaukee. You just signed up, and you could get on that bus to go up there. We had a spot at In on the Park, which is right across the street from the Capitol, what was our headquarters,
Okay.
which we distribute the information that our members could carry to legislators. It was actually open to members and non-members alike. It comes up every year.
Okay.
This year, though, what I was thoroughly impressed with is we didn't have any solid hot-button issues that we were fighting for.
Okay.
We don't just make up legislation to make legislation.
Just to make it up.
Right. I would like to see something further done with making more right-of-way violation penalties, things that really cause fatalities among motorcyclists. I'd like to see them as a right-of-way violation penalty, even though they're not currently. I'd like to see those penalties enhanced. I'd like to see something done about it, but not only for motorcyclists, but all users of the road.
Right. That those are the violations where the folks are, I didn't see it.
I didn't, and they didn't see them because you weren't looking.
Right.
That's just it.
You
Be
weren't paying
responsible.
attention. Right.
So again, freedom, responsibility, they go hand in hand.
Gotcha.
Most recently, in 2006, everyone worked real hard to pass some legislation, and we were actually recognized for having the most comprehensive motorcycle legislation in the United States at the time. It had 5 separate pieces, and some that people might not be aware of. As far as right-of-way violations are concerned, up to that point in 2006, if somebody just didn't see you and pulled out in front of you and killed your brother, killed your friend, it was less than an $80 fine.
Gotcha.
It cost me more to make chili for a chili cook-off than $80.
Right,
Okay,
right.
that was a big deal to us. We got those penalties increased, and along with increasing those penalties, we made everybody take an awareness class.
Okay.
So if you did commit a serious injury to a motorcyclist, pedestrian, bicyclist, anybody on the road, you would have to take a class on how to prevent that in the future.
Gotcha.
We thought that was just as important as any fine, or there is no jail time with it.
Right.
It's a license suspension, a fine. for serious injury or death, but really getting that awareness element in there was very important to us.
Right,
So,
because you're trying to fix a problem.
Absolutely.
This area, you're trying to fix a problem, so the class is definitely necessary.
so we also, one thing that Abate of Wisconsin does is we have a program called Share the Road that we teach in driver's education classrooms.
Okay.
Again, with volunteers, I have people that spend their time teaching driver's education students through a PowerPoint on how to share the road with motorcyclists. Why we are where we are on the road, why do we change positions, what are the things we do, what can hamper us, what happens in weather, what happens in low light conditions, what does a motorcyclist do to help themselves,
Right.
and what can you do to help a motorcyclist is what we teach
Sure,
there.
exactly.
So with that legislation, we made Share the Road, and not particularly our program, but a motorcycle awareness program,
Okay.
mandatory. To me, mandatory is a dirty word most often.
Right.
But we made it mandatory in all driver's education classrooms throughout the state should have up to 40 minutes of motorcycle awareness instruction.
Sure, that's important. That's important.
It seems to be important to everybody. They already have it. They always had an option to do motorcycle awareness, but there's trains, there's pedestrian, there's bicycle stuff to deal with.
Right.
But we made it so it was part of the curriculum. We're very proud of that. And then the big one that maybe a lot of people don't know, but along with that legislation, we also made it legal for motorcyclists to run a red light. We run a red light. That was the biggest thing I got out of the media.
Right.
And to date, I know of no incidents, injuries, or fatalities caused by changing that law.
Okay.
In 2006, we made it so you're not really running the red light. I'm sorry that it said that in the legislation.
And that's yeah.
That was a big. You can't
Right.
blow through them. Don't get me wrong.
Right. That don't
But-
mean you just.
But you see a lot of lights. A lot of them are timed in Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
But a vehicle-actuated red light, when you pull up to a light that's not going to change because the mass sensors or whatever indicator systems they have on that intersection do not register your vehicle, your motorcycle, because it's too small.
It's too small.
You can now proceed through that after waiting for 45 seconds.
Okay.
We conceded to 45 seconds. We wanted it 30. The DOT wanted a minute and a half. We conceded because timed lights could be confusing. You could anticipate that it isn't the timed light when it actually is.
Sure.
So 45 seconds, 90% of the intersections in the state, you will know if it's going to go off or not. So if it doesn't go off for you, a motorcyclist can proceed through with caution.
Sure.
That's just like acting like it's a flashing red.
Right.
So the other guys would have the yellow. They're flying through. And
Right.
I don't think any motorcycle is going to pull out in front of somebody because they can.
No.
So we've had no incidents about that, although we didn't get a lot of help from the Bureau of Transportation Safety. Was supposed to get the message out to all law enforcement that was legal. We had a lot of people getting tickets, so we actually made cards with the statute on them. We haven't made them for a couple years because it's been around for 7 years now.
Right.
But we're going to reintroduce that as we
Sure.
meet new people
Sure.
so that they know that is a law, and you can do that. You don't have to wait or take a right turn or go through, do a U-turn anywhere else. You can go through a red light if it doesn't change for your
And a
motorcycle.
lot of problems, a lot of changes when they come in statutes, state statutes, traffic, and everything else. A lot of times, in law enforcement, that doesn't filter down right away. You know.
No, absolutely.
And with the many agencies that you have to work with here, it doesn't filter down right away. So that's very important.
Sure, and every law enforcement agency uses a different, some of them still use a bond book, some of them have it electronically in their cars. That's really where we ran into the most obstacles. It would have been nice, and all of that has changed too. Government agencies change, and the
Right.
Bureau of Transportation Safety actually works really well with us now, but 8 years ago, maybe they weren't working so
Right,
well with us, and
right.
they did not get that message out. I don't know if that was comical to them because they didn't want the law to pass. But again, the word did get out. I think most law enforcement agencies now know. And it also took a while to get out the message on the enhanced penalties for right-of-way violations.
Sure.
A lot of our members spent time going to court or writing the district attorneys and judges saying, listen, this has ability to be included in these enhanced penalties.
Sure.
We want to see the enhanced penalties happen. Not because we want to persecute anybody, but because we want people to be aware that this is going on. We're setting an example.
Right.
I hate to do that, but that's why no jail time was in it in the first place.
Well, you fought for that for a reason.
We fought for a reason, and I want it to be
Right. Not to
used.
just sit there as another law in the books.
Right, and I do see it used more and more nowadays. I'm not sure if it was used in a recent case in Milwaukee, the Dawson case, but
No, I don't know. I'd have to check that. I have to
Yeah.
check that because I know part of that case was the use of illicit drugs.
Oh, yeah, and then once that comes into play, that actually steps over the right-of-way violation stuff, and you'll be in a lot more trouble than we would ever make for you.
Right, and that's
So-
where all the wrangling is going on now, so.
And it's always a shame in anything we have to do with that. So Abate, first, we're not the anti-helmet guys. I'm for freedom of choice. That is what we got done in the first place. The responsibilities we back up, we talked about awareness. We definitely do a lot with awareness. We also have a rider education arm. We have a sister company called Safe Rider Incorporated. It's a 501c3. Unlike my organization, Safe Rider, you can donate money to, and it's tax deductible.
Okay.
They run rider courses, MSF state certified rider courses, where you can get your license and get the waiver. They are on the western side of the state. They run them out of Fort McCoy.
Fort McCoy, yeah.
At the State Patrol Range.
Yeah.
We've been teaching there since about 1990, 1991.
Okay.
And then we have a traveling experience rider course, which is now called the BRC2. And we offer the experience courses to our members free of charge. They're fairly inexpensive anyway.
Another benefit.
Unlike, it's another benefit of Abate of Wisconsin, but unlike a basic rider course where you can get your license, you use one of their motorcycles, not your own, to get your license. That normally runs in the neighborhood of $250 on up. I'm not sure what our exact price is, but it's be on the low end of that.
Sure.
Experience rider courses are normally like in the $80 range or something.
$80 to $100,
So
yeah.
we do free for all Abate members.
Okay.
So it is another perk, and it's something to test your skills. I took it about 4 years ago, and I don't know how much I learned, but I definitely gained confidence because I knew those skills.
Right.
I hadn't done a figure eight in a little box, and
Right.
except playing around, and I knew I could do it, and I was more confident with my skills. And that comes back to the urban area riding.
Sure.
Either you got skills or you don't. And
Right. You either
if
got
I
it.
survive for as long as I have in this environment, I think we're doing pretty good. But Abate's real proud to have their sister company, Safe Rider Incorporated, teaching motorcycle classes in the state. We also have, and I have a banner here for it if you bring that out, we have an anti-impaired riding program. It's a peer-to-peer program. This is a banner for it. It might be a little hard to see. It says the big Think logo on there.
Oh, it's good.
This is something that we hang at events. I know another acronym for Abate, in other states they call Abate anything and everything, but always bring alcohol to everything. And I do take quite offense to that because I take serious offense to it because
Right.
we've been doing things like this since our inception. I've always seen some kind of logo in our newsletter about being responsible with your drinking. We don't want to necessarily tell anybody they can't drink.
That's fine.
But
Just want you to be conscious.
But you
of what
have to be
you're doing.
conscious of it. I think in this day and age, there's too many people on the road, too many things to think about. I personally, I don't drink and ride at all. Many people, it's that adult choice. Make that choice, but you use these statistics, and 50% of the fatalities in Wisconsin have some kind of drinking involvement, and you can see it's definitely a problem. Let's do something.
Right.
Rather than coming down hard, I don't think there should be a special law for motorcyclists and a lower BAC. Studies have proved that the level where you're not as attentive is the same whether you're in a car or motorcycle.
Yeah.
It's just you're more vulnerable on that motorcycle.
That you
So
are.
we have to pay attention, be safe. Part of our program, it's peer-to-peer. It's you had too many to drink and say, hey, I'll get you a ride. Leave
Right.
your bike. Let's work on this.
We'll take care of it.
Let's talk about it beforehand. We definitely hold meetings in bars, but it's because bars are free. They have food.
Right.
That's where you have meetings. That's where the Lions Club meets, the Rotary Club meets. I
Right.
mean, lots of people
Everybody
meet in
meets
bars.
there,
That doesn't mean we're getting drunk. So I want everybody to give up on the always bring alcohol to everything. It's not acceptable. I'd say
Right.
40 years ago it might have been a little more acceptable. It's not anymore.
Okay.
So that all those things are part of what we do, and I'm probably missing something. Somebody's going to give me a hard time when they see this.
Right.
But Abate does a lot towards safety and awareness to really back up that freedom. So go ahead.
You got a conference coming up?
I actually have a Midwest conference coming up. Very good. Next week. It's May 28th. It's next Friday. Coming up. I'm gonna host STEAM. And again with the acronyms, I'm not a military unit, but we all have acronyms. STEAM stands for Seminar to Educate and Motivate. It's somewhat we consider it a beginner conference here in Wisconsin, but all the Midwest motorcycle rights organizations, and they're all called Abates throughout the Midwest here. Abate of Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa, and Illinois, along with Wisconsin, host this conference. It's going to be in Wisconsin Rapids this year. We're the host. It's the 25th year of it.
Okay.
We give seminars during the conference. We do breakout sessions and seminars on a variety of different topics, from safety topics and how to ride better, but also lobbying. I'm doing something on working between the lines.
Kind of helping each other, trying to get their skills.
And grassroots lobbying into the Capitol, because we are one of the few states in the nation that grassroots lobbies. We take constituents to the Capitol, as we said before with the buses. I'm not paying a lobbyist any amount of money. I'm not registered as a paid lobbyist. I let you do your lobbying for you. You're actually meeting with your legislators and going on. So this STEAM conference is sharing what we know with Abates from throughout the Midwest, so we can all work together on issues. No sense reinventing the wheel. I plagiarize wholeheartedly from other bikers, as I hope they do from me. No sense inventing a new program when we can get it done.
And I saw that information, and it's available on your website.
Yes.
And that conference is the last weekend of March here coming up. So
real
definitely
soon.
check out that. What else you got going?
I'll update you on later.
Right.
Your Abate membership, I'd like to say what comes, and now we didn't grab it. Oh, you can have the newsletter there.
You got a newsletter.
I normally carry around trifolds, and most good Abate members will carry along. This is a trifold. I think we have one that folds 4 ways now, that has all the information that we do, our lobbying efforts, our training efforts, our awareness efforts, some of the fundraising we do. It is the cheapest thing in rights, I think, altogether. I don't know too many rights organizations. 7 cents a day, $25 a year. We have a list of our accomplishments on back that go all the way from repealing the helmet law to making angle parking available in Milwaukee here, to just a plethora of information of what we've been doing for the last 40 years. Your Abate membership, if you join for $25 a year, $45 for a couple, every month you get a newsletter. The front of it's here. Always front and center on the newsletter is our legislative information, because we are a legislative organization, so always front and center. We're going to have something about lobbying and legislation, what's going on. If nothing's going on, we tell our members what to watch out for. And then it's followed by articles from our officers, what's going on throughout the state, region reports that tell what's going on in your region. Wisconsin, for Abate of Wisconsin, is divided up into 37 regions right now. We have members in every county in the state. Down here by us, Milwaukee is 1A, Waukesha is 1F. It's by county, but up in the northern half of the state where there's less membership, we have some regions that are 3 counties or 4 counties.
A little bit more spread out.
But they all have meetings, and they have meetings in their individual counties. It's called area meetings. But all of those are listed in our newsletter and also available online at www.abatewiz.org. So all these articles, everything that's in here is available online, but you get this right to your front door when you're an Abate member every month. Then you also, again, you can take any of our experienced rider courses at our location in Fort McCoy. You can join us at any meeting. And you know what I hear from a lot of people is, well, I got kids, I'm doing this, I'm involved with the firefighters, I'm doing this. I tell you what, more than anything, I do want you to be knowledgeable of what's going on in motorcycling and in the biker world, but more than anything, I need your $25. It allows me, I said it's a volunteer organization, but somebody's paying for fuel, somebody's paying to do our job, not only in Wisconsin, but we travel to the Capitol in DC, and somebody's paying for that. So it's fundraising when we put on a party. If you can't be a member, maybe you're in a club that doesn't allow you to be a member of any other organization, I'd like you to at least come and support our parties. Those parties benefit the state. They turn into money to the state. The state controls all the money for all the regions. $300 is all a region can keep in their checkbook. So we really divide it where it has to go. Also, Abate members own their own land. We have 80 acres in the center of the state where we hold our yearly rally. We also hold a family camp out. That'll be the 3rd weekend in August. I invite everybody to that too. 3rd weekend in August, we bring all our kids up there. Some come on bikes. I take a truck and trailer with all kids stuff to play and have fun with. But it introduces children to the biker culture. And every member can use that land for camping. It's about 10 miles south of Thorpe, off of MM in Green, just outside of Greenwood, I guess is the address for it. But we've got 80 acres. It's available if you're a member. So again, all that benefit for $25 a year. It's a whole bunch of benefits, and we'd like to develop that further. So some money definitely goes to that. But most of the money we raise that goes towards our land is raised for that. So when you're joining, The money's going towards a newsletter and all the legislative things that we do. 40% of every dollar that we raise goes towards our legislative efforts. Besides that, you can raise money for our highway safety initiatives, for our awareness programs. You can raise money and they earmark it for the land.
Okay.
So the people that believe in those things have the opportunity to pay for those things, and those that don't so much believe in them can stay away and believe in the rights aspect of Abate. We continue, though, to be one of the strongest motorcycle rights organizations in the nation. Of course, you'd expect me to say that, being the director of it.
Right.
But I'm very proud of our organization. This year, when we came to Lobby Day with no hot button issues, but still explained our beliefs and the foundations of our freedoms for motorcycling in the state to our legislators, we were very well received. Spoke a lot of different issues that maybe we can talk about in the future.
Sure.
No new legislation introduced, but everybody went away very happy. And I think it empowers everybody to be able to talk to their legislators and know that they're making a difference.
Know what's going on.
And that's the overall goal of our organization, is to provide that united voice for motorcyclists in Wisconsin. And
Well, they got to know you're there.
Yeah.
They got to know you're there. What we're going to do here on the show is bring you back as you get more updates about any initiatives that you're doing and that the organization is doing, to always give you something on the web to always put out there.
you know, I love that spoiler. There's a couple things we're working on now. A lot of things have to do with funding. Want to make sure the DOT is putting the funding where they're supposed to put the funding. If anybody's not aware, there is legislation that's been passed. It's going to change the Constitution in Wisconsin if it passes referendum now.
Okay.
Through 2 sessions of the legislature, I believe AJR 2 is what it was called this year. But they're going to make transportation funds segregated, which my organization hasn't decided whether to wholeheartedly support. We thought maybe we could do that without a constitutional change. Probably like you, I hold the Constitution both of the United States and of our state very sacred. I wish I could have done it without it. But as it looks right now, it's a very positive thing. Money that comes from our license plates, that comes from licensing, is going to go to the DOT and stay there.
Right.
I believe the majority is going to be infrastructure, but they're also the ones that pay for all the motorcycling programs that help grant rider education throughout the state. They help put up billboards, all that kind of activities. That comes a lot from your registration dollars. So hopefully that'll go there. One of the big things, though, that came up this year is Black Box Privacy Protection Act was introduced in Washington, D.C. And we're looking to introduce something in the state if we have to get ahead. Washington, nothing's going on in Washington now.
Right,
you know how that is.
right.
Nothing can move.
Right.
They're butting heads on everything. So we're trying to move it in the state. Everybody, if you have a motorcycle that's less than 10 years old, has a black box on there. That computer module that controls your whole fuel injection, it also has taken a lot of other information down. You may believe it's all stored underneath your seat, when actually it could be transmitted to a alternate location, and that information could be used for anything. I know Ford Motor Company has recently been caught selling some of that information on where you're driving and what you're doing and what your driving habits are.
Right.
That company that has the snapshot, the insurance company, that's what it's doing, is taking information from that black box. But what we're promoting is letting legislation keep up with that technology.
Right.
You know,
Legislation
there
is
should
way
be,
behind.
Right, legislation's way behind. Whose information is that? We firmly believe if it's your black box, it's your
Right.
information.
You're paying for the car.
Exactly.
Or the bike or whatever.
Right. So if law enforcement wants to subpoena that, I believe that's well within their rights.
Okay.
But we need legislation to keep up with that, so that's something we're pushing for in the state right now. It's something that we're going to continue to push for at the federal level.
Sure.
But definitely, technology is way ahead of the legislation. And when privacy concerns, if they're important to you, that's just one more reason to be a member of Abate, Wisconsin.
And most people don't know that they have a black box.
No,
on
no.
the motorcycle.
I don't know if I did. Mine's in 1995. I don't know if they had them back then.
Right,
What
right,
can you do?
right,
I
right.
still have a carburetor, so I'm guessing maybe I'm not included in all that. But
Right.
I'm sure my vehicles that I drive, my
Oh, without
four-wheel
doubt.
vehicles have them.
Definitely. And most people don't think about that when they're talking about a motorcycle, because everything is so compact. And
Sure.
They're not even thinking about that. So that's important legislation right there. Definitely important. And like I said, we'll continue to have you on throughout the year and bring you up with updates and bring people up to speed about what needs to happen, what's going on in Madison, D.C. as you travel. And we look forward to seeing and hearing more of your stories.
Well, I sure appreciate that, spoiler. I look forward to being here, and I look forward to seeing everyone out there.
Okay, that's been another segment of Real Riders Ride, and I will see you on the road.